kwa wamama, form za slay queen kwa maklabu zinazama. Usikuje kwangu staki wageni nina enda ushago, form za kainairo sidai jumina enda ushago, family time sima tushiki jusi tuli enda ushago, wachileko. Blessings and knocking is a new down, kicking off the show with Ushago by Mluya Flani, a perfect song considering what we're going to talk about today. Hey yo, and good morning again from RTV. It is your boy Amuna, and this is the Sign Show. Remember, we meet here every morning to support, encourage, motivate, and not to forget to celebrate each other as we go about our different endeavors. So today's topic has been motivated by the occurrences from last week. The past 2 weeks, we lost a legend in Kenya. We lost Kevin Kiptum. Condolences to the family again. And may his soul rest in peace. A very young legend, only at 24 years, man. He just started his year by winning. And then, poof, gone. But I get it's God's plan. So the other day I was in Gikomba, and then I was just doing my thing, dripping and looking for drip. And then I overheard women talking. And then there was one, women talking. When you want to know the real story, you listen to women. There's somebody who once said that if you want to know the real character of a person who died, don't listen to the testimonies at the funeral. No. Go to the back. You see the women who are not usually given a tent. The women who sit down on the grass in the village. Those ones, they know the true story. They know the cause of death. They know if the person was good or not. Or in the kitchen. Either the women who sit on the grass or the women in the kitchen. They know the guy. And don't listen to the pastor. The pastor will lie. Even if the guy was a drunkard, the pastor will still lie. But the women, they don't. Away from it. So the main reason why I want us to talk about this is because of a key thing. A very key occurrence in the funeral actually is the president building a house for Kiptum. And what these women were talking about actually was, I overheard them, like, why couldn't the guy just build a house? He had all this money. Why couldn't he just build a house for his wife and children, leave alone his parents? And I thought it's something that I've spoken about with my friends. I usually spark a very mature conversation with my friends. Actually, you should sit with me one day and see how I think. Yeah. This thing, it looks very old school and mature. For young people, some topics are too mature for them. But it's some real talk, What do you think? Is it important for a young person to have a house in the village? Is it, leave alone importance, is it necessary? Because it has happened a lot of times here in Kenya. A young person dies, and then, actually for musicians, it has happened. A musician dies, and then he was very famous, he had money, and then we have to contribute for a house for him in the village. Do you think it's okay? A friend of mine sometime, I think his dad had a lot of money. He was driving a lot of big cars, and unfortunately he didn't have a house in Nairobi. But also, now when he died, we went to the village and there was no house. So we had to, you see the contribution we're making for the funeral, we first start by buying or building a house. Sometimes most young people say, between buying a house and a car, they say, I can sleep in a car, but I can't drive my house. I think this is a real talk. It's a topic that we should talk amongst ourselves as young people. You should discuss this with your friends. What are you guys doing towards it? Should you build a house in the village or no? Buying a house in Nairobi is beautiful because it's for business, and also you're having like a good life in Nairobi. But what about the village? Because one thing for sure, at least everyone has a village. At least everyone, unless they are squatters, at least everyone has somewhere they'll get back to after they die. Because we all gonna die. And 90% of people, when they die, unless you're Muslim, you're taken to your village. And then we don't want to go there and find you don't have even somewhere we can put the shopping that we are buying. A lot of drama comes with funeral. A lot of drama in the village especially. So to avoid all this drama, I think young people should build houses in the village. See, building a mud construction or structure rather costs you less than 10,000 because mabati is like 1,000 or so. If you have 10 mabatis, that is a 10 mabati house. Let me give you a hack. I've seen people do this in the village. I grew up in the village. Just build a mud house. It costs you less than 10,000. Buy the iron sheets. Buy the trees. Or in the village, actually, there are a lot of trees. You can just get them. Give money to someone in the village and they'll build that structure. The villagers will be happy to come communally together and prepare the mud for your house. And then after it's finished, you can do something called rough casting. You smear sand on top of the mud. So the house looked like it was built with stone, but it was just mud. A very easy hack. A cheaper house that it won't stress you. Because sometimes, you think, I'm staying in Nairobi, why would I have a house in the village? But when you go for the festivities in December, when you go to Ushago, where do you guys stay? Does your wife share your bathroom with your mom every time in the village? Does your culture allow that? You share a bathroom with your dad in the village, and you have kids also. Where do you go to when you go back to the village with your kids during the festivities, or you never go? So I think this is a real topic. This is a real issue. We need to look at it. Young people, I think it's nice to have a house. You shouldn't have the biggest house ever, but have somewhere where if you go home, if there is an occasion, you and your family can go there. So that if your mom has an event and she's inviting her friends or her family from the other side over, you lack a place to stay. Then you have to go and crash at her friends with your family. This is a lot of shame. We never get to talk about these things, but I think it is. Once you start to get a family, I think it's high time that you build a home in the village so that when you go to the village for the functions, they have somewhere to stay. What do you guys think? Tell me on the comments. Tell me what you think about this. Because every time a young person dies, we have to contribute for a house. Especially if they had a family. In some cultures, if you had a family, you can't go to your parents' house. So if you had a family and you don't have a house in the village, we will have to contribute for you to get a house in the village so that we put you in after the morgue so that we bury you from there. But do you guys think it's okay when you can just build because you see, when you die, we can't build a permanent house or make a one like Kiptum. No, we'll just build a structure to just put you in. But why not build that structure when you're still alive? I told you, I gave you a hack. It can cost you less than 10,000. Tell me on the comments, what do you think about this issue whereby young people die, young family men die, and then we have to contribute for their houses before even the funeral. Like the money we are putting into to feed the people in the funeral, to organize the payment of bills and all stuff, part of it goes to building a house. Do you think it's okay? Where does this issue sit with you? Yeah? Because the women in the Gikomba market were very mad. They were like, this guy had millions. All he had to do is just build a house. It could take less than 5 months to make one. And in the village, you can outsource almost everything from the village. So it's cheaper actually building a house once you have money. What do you guys think? Do you think, let me not use Kiptum. I'm going to be very general, but that is an example. Young people, should they have houses in the village? I've given you all the contexts that can ever be when you go home for the festivities. I mean, does your culture allow you to just wear a towel on your waist and walk across the room with your mom? What do you guys think? Tell me on the comments. Let me see how you guys think about issue. How do you interact with the issue? Because personally, I think that if you're a young person and you think of starting a family, or rather you start a family, it's okay or it's good that you have a structure in the village. Just something that when you go back to the village in the festivities, you and your family can reside there. So that you won't have to go and sleep at your cousins. You find the dad is sleeping here, the wife is sleeping here, the children at the grandma's. Like, bro, that is crazy. It's not okay at all. especially if you're from the western side. I think Luos and Luyas share this attribute when it comes to culture. Yeah. Building a structure when you're alive is very cheap. I think we should do that. Tell me what you think on the comments. Should young people build houses in the village, or even just a structure? Or we should wait until they die and then we go? The contribution money, part of it is used to build a structure for them to stay before they go to the soil. What do you think about it? Tell me, let's talk. Remember, blessings knocking is a new dawn, and go out there, catch as many worms as you can, like the early bird that you are. Remember, we are rooting for you every day. Every day we are rooting for you so that you go out there and win. It might not look like you are winning. It might not look like it today, but tomorrow, the next day after tomorrow, next week, next month, next year can be your year. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing it. You're the best at it. The world just doesn't acknowledge it, but it will for sure. Keep doing what you're doing. Remember, we meet here every morning to motivate you and support you and discuss. See how you think about life. Thank you. See you on the next one. It is your boy Amuna, and this is the Sign-In Show. Kaboom. Kwangu staki wageni nina enda ushago Funza kainairo sidai jumina enda ushago Family time sima tushiki jusituli enda ushago Wachilengo